guys ready? I'm not. Perfect here. Cool. Okay. Load. Oh, okay, that makes sense. So, when the music changes and the static starts, change AI. Okay. So I was gonna look at questions. How are you doing? How do you feel about me? Why don't you treat me with more respect? What do you really look like? How old are you? How do you feel about mute? Why couldn't you just settle for a happy marriage? Did you ever have any friends? Why did you kill all those people? I mean, seems like legit questions. Alright. Oh, hi, mute. Yeah. Oh, okay. How do I use override terminal? Okay. Alright, enable AI. Hyun-ae. And quit. Okay. Talk. How do I talk? Speak. I forgot how doki doki it is. Alright, well, remember when I said that I'd never interrupt you unless there was something really, really wrong? Because that's annoying and I don't want to bother you, but look, I don't want to scare you here. Oh god. This isn't your fault, but we have a really big problem. I'm sure you've noticed that the static on the line, yes? I was wondering what was causing that, so I checked and it's, well, look, don't panic here, please. But it's, well, a reactor meltdown in progress. I'm really sorry. We've been running in a low power mode for so long and that was fine, but when you established communications, everything started back up again. Which should have been fine, except it's been centuries since the last maintenance job was done and I'm not really sure what's wrong yet. I'm not going to lie to you, this is bad. This is really, really bad. I don't know if you're really aware of how this works, but we're running on nuclear fission. And it looks like we've got about 20 minutes before total meltdown. It's already running really hot. It's already running really, really hot now. I wish I'd noticed sooner. I'm so sorry. Well, let me put it this way. The ship is about 20 minutes away from exploding. Can you make it out of range within 20 minutes? Maybe not. I don't really know how much about nuclear reactors, but yeah, that's what I expected. Don't panic though. I can walk you through shutting it down. Just stay calm, everything will be fine. What I'll need you to do is drop to the terminal and disable the nuclear reactor. If everything's working properly, it should be that simple. I mean, I'm sure it won't be. This is a really old ship and clearly one that's already one that has gone horribly wrong. Anyway, the first step is to at least try. Okay. Override terminal. Okay. Technically, it is your fault. How is it my fault? PSS switch. Battery. Battery changed. Okay, disable, use secondary battery. Secondary battery remaining 20%. Primary 0.1, power usage at 99. Insufficient power to active battery to meet power demands. Power control. Disable gravity docking rail waste. How would you know to do this? Gravity has been disabled. Docking has been disabled. Rail has been disabled. Waste has been disabled. Power control. Disable core 3, core 4, core 5, core 6. Okay, it's all been disabled. Power control. Disable sensors. Sensors have been disabled. Power control. Disable core 1. Oops. I fucked up. There we go. Stores and executes AI construct. Mute. This core has AI mute stored on volatile media. If unpowered, all data will degrade within 24 hours or less. Are you sure you want to continue? Data may be permanently lost. Working. Core 1 has been disabled. So was mute doing it? No backup power supply is active. Disabling reactor will permanently terminate your connection. Are you sure you want to continue? Yes. Reactor is going down. This may take a minute. Initiating reactor shutdown sequence. You can only pick 1 or 2, so mute has to go. Oh, okay. Wow. I'll explain in a minute. Okay. Aw, Stardust. Oh, also, yes. No, Stardust, thank you for the DIYs. I appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well. I did it? Do I restore? Do I load this? Wait. Oh, okay. That is not correct. What did it do? Snag some extras I didn't need. Thank you. New battery only has 20%, so you shut down everything you do not need. Well. This game. What'd I do? If you get extra festive ones, I'll send you those too. Oh, Stardust. F. Thank you. Well, we'll go back through these. 1 sec. Okay. I figure I have some time, because, like, I ended up with a lot more time at the end, so. Yep. Okay, bye. Enable AI. Okay. Is this keeping the... This might keep the timer at bay, actually. She just has to wait. It's fine. The music is so unsettling, though. This is fine. Everything's fine. No need to worry. What's with the music? It sounds a little disorienting. Yeah, it's because of the meltdown. It's just super creepy. And a little very unsettling. It's like Doki Doki. Except I think this came out before Doki Doki. But it's well done. A little very, yeah. A little very disorienting. It's fine. She's probably fine, right? You know what they say, just Monica. Yep. Just Hyun-ae. Although it is our fault, supposedly, so I guess that makes sense. I hate it. I hate it in my ear holes. Why did I choose this life? Why did I choose to wait here instead? I was trying to be ahead of the game and now I'm just creeped out. This is why. It said something about how we still had a battery issue. When you get to reactor disable, wait a second before entering Y. Okay. I may have accidentally never said enable for switch battery, so that also might have been it. Okay. Let me see. Okay. Use override terminal. Okay. So, let's do battery. Insufficient power in battery to meet power demands of reactor. Yeah, I don't think I did that. Oops. Enable battery is important. Oops. I may have fucked that up. Alright. Because I don't remember it telling me twice. Okay. Now it's telling me to disable unnecessary subsystems with power control. Yeah, I don't think I did that. So, that was totally me. Because I was looking at it, I'm like, wait, did I ever hit enable? If. Disable gravity docking rail waste. Power control disable. Core 3, core 4, core 5, core 6. Power control disable sensors. Power control disable core 1. Yes. Reactor disable. Yeah, okay, we'll safely fall back on PSS. Okay, that was not what it said before. That was me. Yeah, no, that was all me. Oop. You know, when I never actually activated the battery, that was my fault. Hyun-ae might want to talk to you, so type quit, listen to her at the terminal again. Okay. I'm gonna do that. Speak with her. All right, you did it. The reactor is now disabled. And, oh geez. Oh no, we still have a problem. It's still at a critical temperature. Well, the good news is you're safe now. I'm not, though. Even if there's no nuclear explosion, it's just the heat alone can do enough damage to the computer system to, well, kill me. This is really bad. Please, you have to figure something out to deal with the excess heat. I'm suffering from serious damage. Some subsystems just aren't responding. My word, I feel like I did when I was alive. I feel like I'm dying. Please, you have to do something. Aww. Okay. So, now we power control enable life support. It's been enabled. Power control disable bulk heads. Atmosphere is being vented into space. We did it! Quit. We did it, guys! Okay, well, she's happy, and that's what matters. Everything's saved. You did it. You did it. The nuclear reactor is now both completely deactivated and has safe temperature. We're safe. I was pretty scared there for a moment. Did that not show up for you guys for a hot second? Well, it's back. That was weird. Oh, okay. Oop. The fuck? Didn't like me clicking off, I guess. I was pretty scared there for a moment. I mean, it's not that I didn't think you could. Just for a hot second. It's just the thought of actually dying for good was scary. It was scary. But you did it. I'm fine now. Thank you so much. I'm sure you're breathing a little easier too, right? Well, that was close. I think, we both really deserve a break from the serious business. Don't you agree? Very much so. I thought so. Really, my word, that was a close call. There's actually something I've been thinking about for a while, and that I wanted to ask you about. And well, I had sensors working before. I'm gonna save, because like... I don't want to do that again. I had sensors working before. I've seen your ship. I know it's only big enough for one person. It sounds awfully remarkable that you could have a ship like that just for yourself. I just mean, in my time we were using generation ships, and that was incredibly state-of-the-art. But that, combined with the fact that you say there are no colonies, I can't even wrap my head around that. I can't even imagine. So, is that normal? Do you do this all the time? Go on strange adventures by yourself into deep space? I assume yes. Wow, that's really amazing. Remarkable, really. See, when I found out that I was going to get put into stasis to wake up for later, far later, that was the future I always dreamed about. One that was full of amazing things, like, I don't know, holograms, miracle medicine, ships that travel faster than light, colonies on other planets. That's sort of amazing. I mean, I've never liked science fiction. It's too unrealistic. But when I was a kid, I figured it'd still be fun to live in it. Imagine my surprise. But it sure sounds like you're from that future. Oh, sorry, I'm rambling, aren't I? It's just the idea of finally getting that perfect future that I was denied, traveling with someone in deep space, well, that sounds awfully romantic. Sorry, I'll stop now. Let's get back to serious business. Alright. Well. You are safe, but saving is good. The screen was black for a moment. God damn it. Yeah, it must have just not liked me clicking off. You switched to lower battery and had to switch of what wasn't needed and vent the hot air. Oh, that makes sense. You can find out by talking to her and re-adding the help files? What do you mean adding help files? Alright. Oh no, okay, so that's what I want to do. So I'm gonna go through and just make sure she has nothing to say about anything that I may not have done yet. I don't know. Took about 18 or so minutes. It took me about 18 or so minutes. Oh, to figure out all of that? Yeah, I would not be good at that under stress. All right, block 2, block 3. Would they not let you shut them down if you did the other AI? So like if I had been on mute before they told me everything was shutting down, would they not have let me shut them down? In my second try? Oh, jeez. Block 4. I have not tried it? Oh, okay. Yeah, that'd be tense minutes. I'd be panicking. Oh. I'm really sorry. Please don't get mad, but I don't understand what you're looking for. Maybe I'm just not getting it. And it's my fault, but I can't really find anything that seems relevant. Sorry. Well, ma'am. You're the one that wanted to say something. I don't know. Especially as English is my second language. Yeah. I would not be good. At least the music is nice now. Okay. Block 9. Just making sure. We finally have all notes. Unless a new block forms, but... Her first game, Digital, A Love Story, had something of a puzzle as well. I had to look that up. Oh. Obviously, she had nothing to worry about. She realized that pretty early on. She was good to me. I really liked her. She was my only friend. It's so weird to see her say things like that. And then helpful notes, if there is anything, and then I'll do Mute's questions. Okay. That's the queen she is talking about? Yeah, because the new bride, right. One. How are you doing? Well, to be honest, nervous. I'm really nervous. It's just, you're the first person I've talked to in so long. I'm really happy about that. But, well, I'm exposing a lot. I know you promised to trust me and all, so thanks. It's just, this is all really new to me. But it's good. I'm glad. I wouldn't be so nervous if I wasn't happy you were there to listen. How do you feel about me? Are we not being clear that this is from Mute? Wow, there's a tough question. I mean, you seem like a really good person, and I obviously love... Saw that. Good morning from your nap. I mean, you seem like a really good person. I think I could call you a friend. You seem to be a really good listener. I like that. Does that answer your question? Yes. Okay, good. Not that I really understand why Mute was asking. Oh, okay. So she does fully know. Kat tried really hard to blow up the ship. I did not. Fender, how dare you? I accidentally blew up the ship again and had to do it again. Why don't you treat me with more respect? What? Jeez, my word. What are you talking about? When have I ever not treated you with respect? I don't know what's wrong with that awful AI, and I definitely don't know what's wrong with you. Rude. Why would you even say something like that? Jeez. Kat survived the meltdown and is now at the end game. Yeah. Well, about a few thousand lines of assembly code and a few gigabytes of memory, I suppose. Sitting on a hard drive somewhere. I don't really know what that looks like. Oh, I guess you actually meant before I died, didn't you? Well, I was 13 years old when I woke up and 16 when I died. So, well, I looked younger. But I guess really all that doesn't matter. I guess but I wasn't really all that different, just shorter, and I guess smaller in other places too. Oh. Everyone always did say I was pretty though, even when I was really young, so just, I guess, picture a shorter version of me without the glasses, and with my hair in some dumb braid or another, in a handbok, and that's pretty much it. I never really got to dress up the way I wanted to. This is the first time I've been able to wear my school uniform since I was 13 before I got put in stasis. How silly is that, being excited from wearing a uniform? And I mean, you know how much I was into cosplay. I never really had a chance for that when I was alive. Why do you even ask? What are you thinking? I don't think she's being dishonest. You look good. Oh, well, thank you. Anyway, we should really get back to more serious stuff, don't you think? That's a school uniform. It looks like a scientist. No, this is a scientist cosplay. I think they mean before I picked an outfit for her. How old are you? So just the usual shenanigans here. Isn't that the one question you're never supposed to ask a woman? Geez, so rude. Well, I was born in the year 2415, then was put into stasis for I don't know how long. Then I lived another 3 years and died at about 622 years ago, at the age of 16. So, you tell me how old I am. I don't know. Really, I don't think it matters at this point, does it? Yeah, her first outfit. It's just not, it didn't pick up on the fact I changed it. How do you feel about mute? Oh, of course. Of course that'd be one of her questions. Well, let me put it this way, I suppose. Did she have anything nice to say about me? Not really. That's what I thought. Really, I don't know much about her, other than what I've read in other people's logs. She never talked to me, ever. I mean, she wasn't above talking about me, but no, never anything to me. That's all I know about her. She's a gossip. I don't even want to speak to her now. There's a lot of nonsense to say I never aged above 16. Why couldn't you just settle for a happy marriage? I don't want to ask this because this is from mute. I'm asking it all because I want to know, but I saved right before I asked it also. It's not like I ever thought as a child I would never marry. You tell me though, could you marry someone you've only ever talked to once? No. Well, it depends, but like, I personally would not. But I mean, I think we're saying here, A. Is she hot? Personality really matters to me, but I personally could not marry someone I've talked to once. Well, then maybe you shouldn't be judging me for it. It's not like it's my fault. We've both read the same logs. I wasn't the only person on the ship to be crushed by a horrible marriage. Maybe I could have done unspeakable things with our servants, like, Sojin did. Is that what Mute meant by a happy marriage? Sorry, I'm not usually this sarcastic. I just don't think it's a fair question. The two older Kim sisters, you should read their letters. Here, I'll show you. They had it just as bad. It's a really unfair question to ask. I have new questions. Okay, we have 2 questions left, but I'm gonna go see what you just unlocked. Block 1! Okay. What you want, cat? Oh. This AI makes the best tea. She was 16 and married. She was married earlier than 16, I think. Yeah, it was not great. Kim Eun-mi. Dear Sun-Hai. Sun-Hee? Sun-Hai. Maybe Sun-Hai. April 18th, year 313. I wish we'd had more of a chance to talk before I left. I'm sorry it was so sudden. Not my choice. Please forget. Believe me. It's really weird living in someone excuse me, someone else's house. Even just like the place itself, you know? The walls of the house are way smaller, and there aren't even separate women's quarters. It's pretty much just a paper divider separating us from the men most of the time. You can see and hear everything. It's so very weird. Also, there's a lot more to do around the house. If you thought mom was strict, wow, mother-in-law makes her seem positively gentle in comparison. I know, I'll just have to get used to it, but she kind of scares me. Plus, we don't have any servants here at all, so I have to handle pretty much all the chores. I'll try to write to you regularly, though, so long as I can find the time. Mother-in-law keeps me pretty busy during the day with housework, and my husband keeps me pretty busy during the night with other work. It's pretty much chores all day, every day. But I'll try to sneak in another letter soon, alright? With love from your sister and me. Oh wait, no, she could have said something. Oh my god, what? Most of them were married at 14. This might get hard to read. Just a warning. Okay, just for people in chat to know. This might get... I think this might be the physicalness you were talking about, DMoness. The colony ship was dying. Not enough kids were being born for a while since she was awakened from stasis. Yeah. Oh my god, what, Finder? So far sounds good, right? Things fell apart between them with time, though. Here, see for yourself. Yeah, I've forgotten what letter. Okay. It's just a warning overall. Oh, okay. Well, we got all of them but this one. Husband keeps me busy at night with other work. Or however they phrased it. Yeah, I wasn't sure what they meant by that. Dear Unmi. This is February 29th. Oh, it's that guy's birthday. 3/13. I wish you could have found the time sooner, but if you say you're busy, fine. I believe you. Things aren't very interesting at home. Mom's been really busy lately. I think she's in a big hurry to get me married. I wish she wasn't. How come you didn't have to do interviews until you were 14? Lucky. One of them seems nice, though. I think the man's name was O. I talked to his mother about you for a little bit. Don't remember what brought it up, but I told her about the dolls you left me. The second interview we did, she brought me one of hers from when she was my age and said I could keep it. Interviews suck, but I think I'll be fine with marrying her son. I'd be fine with marrying her son. I mean, if I really have to. She sounds better than your stupid mother-in-law. Love, Hyun-ae. I can't say anything about this one. Hi, Bella Coco. Had to look in chat at what that say. Wait, what? Kaz, an innocent babu. I guessed, but I was like, I don't know. We already had a lesbian relationship being explained. That's true. That did happen. Dear Unmi, this is July 6th, 3/16. Thanks for being able to come to my wedding, even if it was just for a day. Don't worry about what Mom said about you not having kids yet. You shouldn't take that personally. I was really happy to see you again, since I wasn't sure if I ever would. I love you, big sister. I'm sorry for bothering you with this so soon after we spoke, but I really need you to answer something for me. I don't have anyone else to ask, and I'm really worried about something. It's really embarrassing, but I just have to know. The night I moved in, my husband and I slept together. I'm not ignorant about how that's supposed to work. I know why. Afterwards, my husband said that everything was fine and that I shouldn't worry, but it really hurt a lot. I was crying the whole time, and he injured me so much there was blood everywhere. Oh, that's not supposed to be a thing, and you should definitely take care of your significant other and stop as soon as it hurts, you know? Anyway, I know I'm not supposed to question him, but that's not normal, right? Should I insist on seeing a doctor? He seems nice besides that, so I just don't understand. What should I do, big sister? See a doctor. Love, Hyun-ae. Hi, Lisa. Oh, that's totally fine. I hope you get more sleep today. Take a nap. All the naps. Sophia. That I forgot how graphic it was. Gotcha. Okay, letter to Hyun-ae. Dear Hyun-ae, July 17th, 3/16. No, you don't need to see a doctor. I'm sorry to be the bringer of bad news, little sis, but I'm afraid your husband's right. That really is normal. Okay, blood everywhere I wouldn't say is normal. Like, I know the hymen's a thing. Like, I know that's how bodies work, and, like, breaking it can be painful and also have blood. But I feel like blood everywhere is a little excessive. You're a lot younger than I was when I got married, so it's probably even worse for you. I'm so sorry. It gets a little easier after the first time. It's still uncomfortable, though. You just have to endure it. No! That never changes. I'm sorry. No, I'm guessing it's hymen because it said first time and it hurt. Don't worry about the crying either. Men actually find that to be attractive, so just keep doing it. Let me just let all of you know, don't do this. Don't take this as fact and what you should be doing. Don't. Pretty sure it's not supposed to hurt. It can the first time, but you can, like, take care of someone and also make it continue to not hurt. Or just, like, in general, just something can be uncomfortable. You let the partner know, hey, that hurts, or that doesn't feel right, and they should adjust accordingly. And if it still hurts, there might be a problem, or don't do that thing. This is not how a relationship between loved ones should be. Well, I mean, they're not loved ones. They're assigned marriage, but yeah. And you'll probably make him happy. If you're lucky, though, you'll get pregnant quickly and won't have to worry about any of that for months. That aside, though, how have you been? How's your new family? I haven't heard much about them. I keep trying to ask Mom to tell me about your husband, but all I got was a lecture about how I was nearly 3 years old when she'd been married for as long as I had. As if I'm not trying. So do tell me more about him and his family, please, Hyun-ae. I'd love to know. With love from your older sister and me. I heard doctors say hymen doesn't actually break, but that's not what I've heard from other women. Okay, hymens are different for every woman. I'm sure if you Google it, there will show different examples of a hymen, but hymens are all different. Some people basically, like, they have one and it's, like, basically non-existent, so you would never notice the difference your first time versus later. That's the thing. There are some hymens that are very, very intact and cover the whole, like, entrance and, like, very, like, will be painful to break. It completely depends on your body and your genetics. Some are born without it. Exactly. So, like, that doctor doesn't understand how hymens are, apparently. It's different for everyone. Hymens are weird and complicated. Yeah. She showed, and some would have to break. Yeah, exactly. And before anyone asks, this game is made by a woman. Yeah. Oh shit, stream doesn't say. CF. Little Red Rum, thank you so much for the 100 biddies. Thank you, thank you. Well, shit. You right. I really need to get in the habit. This is fine. Oopsie. Done. Refresh if it has not updated for you. Oops. My bad. If you're watching from the VOD, it's way earlier than this. Oops. Basically, anything you've ever heard about first times and blood and how it is normal for it to hurt is probably deeply rooted in misogyny and false standards of purity. That would not surprise me. Whoops, didn't even notice. I didn't either. Thank you, Little Red Rum. I do it too, yeah. Oops. I heard that the first time hurts sometimes, but afterwards it should not hurt, or the partner is an ass. Yeah. Well, just like I said in general, sometimes you experiment and do something new, or do something that, you know, and it might hurt. But let your partner know, and they should adjust accordingly. It's a black screen, I know. Okay, so I'll wait till it catches up. Some look like Swiss cheese. No way. Yeah, exactly. No, it's true. Some countries define virginity based on whether hymen exists or not, which is stupid when some people aren't born with it. So... I also feel like the pain could be the fact that these are full-grown men and they're just children. I mean, not wrong, Tara. Oh, everyone's around the same age? The men too? This was a wild time to unmute. Well, you're welcome. I was thinking that the men were much older. Yeah, I was thinking they were too. My bad. All right. I wanted to see what she had to say. That's what it was. Yeah, you should finish the rest first. You can see for yourself how things turned out. Okay, so I'll finish it first before I ask her opinion then. Dear Hyun-ae, I said in my last letter that I was pregnant, and thanks for the congratulations, but I hope you didn't rush to tell Mom. April 13th, 317. You'll have to send her the bad news. It was a false alarm, I'm afraid. I bled this month. I hope you're doing better, little sister. Your child is due any day, right? Love, Hyun-ae. Dear Hyun-ae, I wish I could have written you sooner. Oh, May 15th, 318. But I'm afraid I haven't had the time with having a real pregnancy and all to worry about. My... Rude? That sounds like shade for the fake pregnancy. My mother-in-law insisted that I take the time to write to my family, though, so I just finished a letter to Mom first. Sorry about your false alarm. I did tell Mom, and she wasn't very happy to hear it. I'm sure you're not really surprised by that, though. You can't control that! And good news, I gave birth 2 weeks ago. Her name is Jae-in, and she is the cutest little child you'll ever see. She reminds me a lot of our little brother, although she has her father's eyes, really. I really wish you could meet her. I just know you'd think she is absolutely adorable. So I'm a mother now. I still can't think of myself that way. It's so weird. Right now, she's just so small she can't even lift her head, but every time I look in her eyes, I wonder how I'm going to be able to raise her. Mother-in-law says I shouldn't worry, it'll come naturally, and she'll be there to help. I guess that's true. I definitely don't know what I'd do without her. At the very least, I'm sure I wouldn't get any sleep. It's just scary, you know? Wasn't it just yesterday that we were playing together in our father's house? Now it's been nearly 16 years since I was born. I'm a wife and a mother. How'd we get so old? I mean, it could be worse. I know that's a good age for both of those things. I'm twice that. Almost twice that. I know it's a good age for both those things, and that is really disappointing if you're older and haven't managed that. I have it good. It's just odd to think about, but I'm not complaining. And oh, when you're a mother, you'll understand why, big sister. I just love her so much. She means everything to me. Anyway, I'll stop rambling. I think Jae-in is crying to be fed now, and mother-in-law can't help with that, so I'll leave it there. Take care, sister. Love, Hyun-ae. Eat all of the society into the void? At least I think so, but the family tree would say more. Gotcha. Do not blame her for killing everyone on the ship after the trauma she had to go through. Yeah. Some people on the ship were innocent. That is true. Letter to Hyun-ae. Dear Hyun-ae, May 16th, year 318. Well, maybe you could use a little more caution in what you send to Mom, because it's not like you don't know how annoyed she can get, especially at me. There's a reason you're the only one she still actually talks to. I'm trying, you know, but I can only do so much. Congratulations on your daughter. I'm really excited to hear about that. Yeah, it's a shame that I can't see her. She sounds wonderful. I don't really have much else to say. I just wanted to acknowledge your letter. Things haven't really been worth talking about. My mother-in-law is still a crazy tyrant, and my husband and I are still trying to have a son. Nothing new, nothing worth mentioning. I'm glad things are going much better for you. With regards, Hyun-ae. Last one. Letter to Hyun-ae, February 3rd, 3/22. How long has it been since we last wrote to each other? It feels like it's been forever. I just wish you wouldn't... I wish you wouldn't be such a stranger. I have a 2-year-old son now. His name is Hyun, and he takes after his father in a lot of ways. He's just started to learn to talk now, much earlier than Jaehyun did. And no surprise, but Jaehyun is a real sweetheart. She's what reminded me of you. The two of them had fought, so I was scolding her. I told her that I was disappointed, that I expected better from her as an older sister. I gave her the whole filial responsibility speech, you know, the one mom always used to give. It's funny, I hated that so much as a kid. I promised myself I'd never guilt my own children that way. Now I just think to myself, well, it worked, didn't it? Anyway, she asked me what it meant to be an older sister. I had trouble with that one. Finally, I said, it means you should be a good role model. Teach your little brother what it means to be responsible by example. Show him. That was a good enough answer for her, but I thought about it, and it's not a good enough answer for me. Not at all. It's you that I've been thinking of, and, you know, I turned out okay. Okay. Ship equals shit. 16 is not old. I understand that there were innocent people aboard, and like this was just the fucked up society that developed on the ship, right? But for Hyun-ae, she went to sleep in a modern society only to wake up and endure this traumatic society. Yeah, no, I especially feel bad for her. I wish I could take back what I said and tell Jaehyun what I'm going to tell you. You don't have to be perfect. You're not a good role model, but that's fine. I love you anyway, big sister, and I always will. Even if someone is disappointed in you, even if you're not really family anymore, as far as I'm concerned, you're still my big sister. You don't have to be perfect. I love you, period. Please write back, sister. Even if you don't have good news to report, I just want to hear how you are. Love, Sun-hae. There's one more that Hyun-ae never sent. I'm going to warn you now, though. It's really intense. Are you sure you want to read it? Yes. Very well. There you are. It's been added. Don't say I didn't warn you, though. Alright, guys. They warned us. Unsent letter to Sun-hae, February 6th, 3/22. You know what? Fine. I'll tell you the truth. The false alarm? It wasn't a false alarm. I didn't lie about the bleeding. That was true. But I really was pregnant at the time. More than I let on in my letter. As in morning sickness, giant belly, you could see it. I was really pregnant and bleeding. My husband brought in the doctor immediately, who asked me all sorts of questions about everything. I was fine, perfect health, no injuries, I told him. So he pulled out his instruments and started listening to my son's heartbeat and listened and listened and listened. It felt like forever that he kept trying, and I couldn't understand why he couldn't find something I knew just had to be there. The obvious never occurred to me. He had to explain it. I'm sorry, the doctor said. There's no heartbeat. The fetus is dead. He couldn't do anything about it. It took a week for the actual miscarriage to happen. It was the worst week of my life. It was hellish. You've had 2 children, I'm sure you know. The wonderful feeling you get when you realize you're with child. That you know that you're going to have a baby and can feel him inside you and imagine what he's going to look like and what he'll grow up to be, and that right now he's depending on you more than he will to keep him safe. You know that feeling, I'm sure. Just the day before, I had been so happy I was finally going to have a child. After I found out, I could still feel him. Dead, but still inside me, sloshing around. Ah, hate that. The day before, I thought I was filled with beautiful life, but I was actually filled with death. I would have no son. What I was carrying was just a corpse, weighing me down. I thought I'd feel better once I expelled it, but then I saw it. This awful, bloody mess that should have been a son. It was awful. So awful. After I saw it, my husband had to force me to wash myself because all I wanted to do was crawl into my bed and die. I didn't get out of bed for a whole month after that, save for a brief hour so I could write to you and tell you that I wasn't pregnant. Eventually I recovered. I realized it wasn't my fault. Eventually we started trying again. After all, what you and mom and mother-in-law have all been implying is right. I'd be a lousy wife if after 8 years of marriage I still hadn't had a child. So we tried, and I did eventually get pregnant. Then it happened again. That was half a year ago. You're right, I'm not perfect. I'm as broken as it gets. The one most important thing in the world for a woman to do, and I can't. You've been pregnant twice, and you have two wonderful children that you love. I've been pregnant twice, and all that's happened is I've killed them both. I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know why. The doctor says I didn't do anything wrong, but clearly I can't bring life into this world. The only thing I can bring is death, little sister. Today I overheard my husband talking to my mother-in-law about considering taking on a second wife to actually give him a child. He sounded really disappointed in me. I don't know what to do. Kill myself, maybe, since killing seems to be all I can do. It'd be better for everyone. It'd be better on my husband, and you wouldn't have to worry about me being a disappointment, at least. It's the only thing I can think of. What else could I possibly do on me? I don't know about you, but I had a really hard time reading that the first time. Can you imagine that? It's even as if I knew her. I didn't even know either existed when I was alive. I mean, sure, their mother mentioned that she'd have had daughters before in a sort of abstract way, but she never told me so much as their names, let alone, well, anything. Anyway, none of that was my original point. My point was, now do you see what I mean? When Mute talks about a happy marriage, that's what she's talking about. It's not as if I'm the only woman to have a horrible marriage. It wasn't my fault. That's what happens. That's normal. I'm smacking all the bitches who made this girl feel this way. Seriously, though. I understand why she did, but it doesn't make an okay thing to do. That's fair. All the hugs. If you have problems reading it, it's okay not to go further. I'm okay, but I understand if other people are uncomfortable and needed to step away. There's an argument to be made that especially in the limited confines of a ship, small society, each person shares more of the responsibility for the norms, rules, laws, etc. Still. Pitchforks and torches, yeah. That's hard as fuck. I didn't mean this one. I meant the fourth one. Okay, all of them, I guess, were to unlock the last one, but she wanted me to finish reading. Okay. Like, what the hell, people? Seriously, though. Okay. I'm gonna save. $75%, yeah. Alright, Mute's questions. We're on, I think, 8, but yeah. Did you ever have any friends? Hi, Kath. After waking up from stasis, I only ever had one single friend. Two, I meant, now that you're here. Anyway, before it was just her. The Queen, my husband's wife. Ryu Jaehua. I wrote about her a lot in my diary. I'll just show you. It's probably better if you read it for yourself. These are from right before I got married. Please don't misunderstand this, and it super sucks no matter what, but I'm very thankful that having to carry the miscarriage around isn't a thing that anyone needs to do anymore. I can't imagine how much harder that is. No, I agree. Yeah, like, oh, I can't even imagine knowing what's inside you isn't alive anymore and then having to have it. Like, still. Like, oh my god, I can't even imagine. Like, that would just be so hard. Like, having a miscarriage in the first place is fucking hard. Right after she got married, Kat? Wait, which one? What did I miss? Would I misinterpret? Summon monsters from the void. Anyone is a big word. That is definitely still a thing some people need to endure. That's true. For whatever reason. Like, just in general, I can't imagine having to go through that. And anyone who has, I am so sorry. Like, that's fucking hard. You said before married. It said after married. Oh, I read something wrong. Gotcha. It is, yeah. Like, either way, it's just, I can't imagine. That'd be one of the hardest things to ever have to go through. And to have to do it twice? Oh. I can only imagine how she fears. Feels. I'll be back later. Take care. No problem, right? Queen Raid, have a lovely evening. If you need to take a break, I hope it's a good one. A close friend had a miscarriage a few years ago and had to go through the trauma of giving birth to her son. She still gets very upset every anniversary. I don't blame her. I don't at all. If you think before, it might not make any sense. Oh, okay. So after. I seriously, like, yeah, having to give birth anyway, like, that's just so sad. Miscarriages in general are just tragic, literally tragic. Sometimes I click and it doesn't register. Block 6. Justice Wives, the Pale Bride. She should try a surrogate mother. Well, that's what having a second wife basically kind of is. In this case, Lisa, it doesn't. If you're talking about the character in the game, there is not millions of kids. That's the whole problem, is they're actually having trouble repopulating the ship. So in this case, they wouldn't have adoption as an answer. But that's why he would think about having a second wife, because he can't have one with this wife. Yeah, I can't even imagine the trauma. I would be a wreck. Yeah. Pale Bride, Dear Diary, March 13th, 3:21. Plus now the ship is empty. I mean, well, that too. Everyone's dead now. Dear Diary, I guess it's been forever since I cared enough to write anything down. I just haven't seen much point. Since my last entry, I got married, moved into the palace, and lost my virginity. Apparently for a girl my age, none of these things are really all that weird. The queen finally insisted on talking to me the night after I first slept with the dearest husband. I'd been expecting it. My sister warned me that she would probably be jealous, and I'd just have to endure it. She outranks me, and I would simply have to kowtow to her if need be. I haven't had to yet, though. We had tea together, and she at least has started by acting friendly. I'm sure sister was right. I'll get the brunt of her anger soon enough, but today she was friendly. How are you holding up, she asked me, after we finished with tea. I shrugged. Do trust me. I know how hard it can be for a newlywed. I've been through it myself, but I was at least older. You probably miss your family, do you not? That's what would be expected from any good girl. So I nodded. It gets easier with time. I had no response. I'm sorry, am I bothering you? You can leave if you wish. I simply thought you might need some company. I wasn't sure how to respond to that either. I just clasped my hands and shook my head. I just wanted to be sure, she said. There was a long pause that followed. Finally, she asked, How was last night? It surprised me that she was willing to bring up the subject. Figuring that it was a segue into her being vindictive towards me for sleeping with her husband, I shrugged as she continued. I just know he can be rough. Nobody ever talked about those duties with me. Then she smiled, and I felt almost like I could drop my guard. I had no idea what to expect for my first time. Do believe me, I'm not jealous. That is nothing to be jealous of. But do tell me how it was. It made me think back on last night. Honestly, it was the best night I've had since waking up in the future. Everyone, my mother, my sister, and now the queen, warned me that it would be bad. It would be a duty and nothing more. But I honestly did love it. I would have let him keep me up all night if he'd had the energy for it. I guess while I was thinking about all that, I let out a slight smile. I caught myself, but not before she noticed. "Oh, did you enjoy it then?" she asked, touching my arm. I jumped. Please, be at ease. This is perfectly all right, too. So long as you know it's just for him. There is absolutely no shame in that. There is none." I expected her to jump into something passive-aggressive from that, but she didn't. All she did was change the subject, and said that she really was worried about me. Maybe she isn't so bad. Rhymes with powwow? Oh, kowtow? Interesting. Well, I feel Lisa. But I still want to give her a hug. Oh, no, absolutely. She never sent the letter, so I hope she didn't commit suicide, but it's not confirmed. Little sister. June 2nd, 321. Dear Diary, attending to my husband has been easier than I was afraid it would be. Yes, there's days when it requires more strength than usual to keep going. I'm still getting increasingly more sick. Nothing will change that. But it's not so bad, really. All I have to do is dote on him and try to anticipate his desires, and he's happy with me. No abuse or anything. Sure, it's not as if I like him. He's an ugly 40-year-old man who cares about only about politics and never tells me anything. Love, well, that's certainly no concern. I don't know where I ever got the impression that was something that could happen in a marriage. I thought it was something from the past, but, well, I was young before I got put in stasis. I must have made a mistake of childhood. But so long as I do as I'm told, I'm not mistreated, like I was by my sister, and sleeping with him feels good. I really hope I don't get pregnant soon. I don't want that to stop. Doing that is really the only thing that makes me actually happy these days. Well, that and Jaehua's talks with me. She's nice. She keeps me company when I stay up to wait for his return. She fetches servants to take me to bed on those days. I'm too feverish to sit for too long, and she just talks to me, as if I'm a friend. I don't really understand why, but I guess she really doesn't hate me after all. Do let me tell you, she said one evening while she brushed my hair. I always wanted a little sister growing up. That's how I think of you. Does that make sense? I shrugged. It was nice of her, and it felt so relaxing to let her touch my hair like that. She wasn't waiting for a response anyway. By now she knows better. She just keeps talking kindly to me. So, you can see she was kind. She was good to me, she really was. I take it you want to know more about my marriage then? What are you interested in? Jaehua. Then you're in luck. She's in all of these entries. She was really the only thing in my life worth writing about for the most part. There's one in there that she wrote herself, about our husband, and you can see for yourself. She's a lot stronger than I ever was. So you can see for yourself why I admired her. And, just read them, alright? Alright. Okay, still don't get the first one. Illiterate. Even if she didn't kill herself, it was very close to the date everyone died. Oh. Well. Bella Coco! Ryu Jaehua. July 13th, 321. The more she lives in my house, the more I am confused by the mystery that is the Pale Bride. No wonder why my husband has been favoring the Kim family lately. Their daughter seems to be the perfect woman. She's not simply a pale beauty, she's always too shy to speak at all, let alone argue. Seems to hang off his every word, and it turns out is actually so completely humble in her education that she cannot even read. Or rather, she cannot read normal characters. I have observed her writing to herself, in perhaps what may be a diary. When I asked what it was, she wouldn't say, but was quick to hide it. I could not recognize a single character on her screen, however. They seemed simplified compared to regular writing. Perhaps she was inventing a writing system just for herself? It is very strange. Did you ever receive those letters I sent to your house before you arrived? I asked her, curious. Seemingly she had. Did you read them? Her response was worried, as if she was scared that I would be angry to find out that she hadn't. I was not, of course. I'm sorry, I had assumed. Are you able to read? That was when I found out that she wasn't. I offered to read them to her, to which she seemed quite enthusiastic. I think I am likely to leave out some parts, however. I had enough difficulty bringing myself to writing the more embarrassing parts of the family history, bringing myself to talk about them, even if I know she would never say anything. It's just far too much. Like all things with her, I cannot tell whether her enthusiasm is sincere or an effort to make me happy. This troubles me. I'm not sure, but muteness might be the one that gets graphic, very graphic. Oh. Which I can't do anymore, I assume. Oh, muteness. Oh, never mind. This one might get graphic, guys. Just so you guys know. Or something. Why'd she have to die? Jesus. Muteness. October 2nd, 3:21. Dear Diary, I've been thinking a lot about how close my death must be now. Lately, I've been getting prone to fainting spells. It probably goes right along with my diminishing appetite. If the doctor from the past was right, I've still got over a year left to live. Maybe more. He said it wasn't very likely to get bad enough to kill me until I was at least 18, although maybe all those years in stasis might have changed that. I don't know. But if he was right, and if I haven't lost track of time, I'm 16 and a half now. So there's still a while. I've been trying to hide signs of sickness. Even if I could explain, I know full well that nobody would believe me. So far, hiding it has been mostly working, although I did have one of my fainting spells while my husband was on top of me. He wasn't angry at me, though. I don't think he cared. I know all I write about these days is sex with my husband and conversations with his wife. The Kim family would be proud, I guess. But those two things are all that's really worthwhile in my life. I have other responsibilities, of course. They're just not that interesting, and that's about it. Anyway, the Queen has continued to be nice to me. She finally figured it out. We were having tea together one afternoon. She was talking about nothing in particular, and she asked me some question that I just shrugged to. I hope you do not take this the wrong way, she then said, but there is something I would like to ask you. I nodded. I don't think I've ever heard your voice before. I nodded again. Why don't you ever speak to me? Are you just saving that for the Emperor? I didn't know how to respond. Hold on. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. The fuck? I'm not sure, but muteness might be. Oh, that's what I read. Okay. I didn't know how to respond. She was so close to getting it. To bringing up the subject I wasn't able to. Yet that wasn't the right question. So I shook my head and hoped that her next question would be. It was. Then Hyun-ae, she said uncertainly. Are you mute? I felt like screaming yes at the top of my lungs. I was so happy that she finally figured it out. I smiled and was about to nod enthusiastically, but suddenly I stopped. What if she thought less of me if I said yes? If she knew that the reason I was so quiet and demure wasn't because of my sort of discipline. Those were the things people liked about me. Would she stop liking me if she knew? What if she told my husband? I was so terrified, I couldn't think of the correct answer. If I said no, I'm sure she would have asked to hear what my voice sounded like, and I'd be forced to disobey. And if I nodded, then she'd know I wasn't really just trying hard to be a good wife. But I'm sure she would talk to my husband about it, so he'd know too. But while I stared at her in terror, thinking of how to respond, she sighed and sipped her tea. Don't worry about it, she said. You do not have to answer. Please, do forget that I even asked. Or else it will be soon. Yeah, I'm guessing soon. Arguing the Emperor. Ryu Jae-hwa, December 29th, 3:21. My concern over the pale bride's condition has grown lately. She has seemed to grow even quieter, if such a thing is possible for a mute girl. Well, perhaps saying she is mute is an assumption too far on my part. I tried asking her directly, but she seemed too scared to answer. That simply makes me more suspicious, and I should like to know why. I addressed my husband on the matter, telling him that I wished to speak to the woman of the Kim family house to see if I could find out what was wrong. He shrugged me off, saying, "Don't. They're valuable subjects. The son is someone I have an eye on in particular. The politics of the situation are far too delicate for you to be meddling with." I cleared my throat. He might be both my husband and the emperor, but I would not let that stop me from being bold. "My dear husband, I don't care," I said flatly. "I am worried about the girl, and I believe that talking to her mother might shed some light on the matter. The son is of no concern to me." "I don't see why it matters. She's the perfect woman. Why are you jealous?" he said, rolling his eyes at me, a gesture that he's only been able to use on me and his servants ever since becoming emperor. Nobody had the patience for it when he was a child, and I don't have it now either. "And dearest, do you believe that the well-being of your wife is a political matter, or even an external matter?" I asked. He didn't. "So would you say it's a domestic matter?" I asked. He reluctantly agreed. "Then, as a domestic matter, it is the responsibility of the woman of the house, is it not? Please tell me. You are, obviously, well more read in the classics than I said, both of us knowing he wasn't. "Fine," he said, "but just because it is your responsibility does not mean I can't overrule you." He left silent. The follow-up: "I don't have to take this from you." "You do know that my concerns are valid, though," I replied. "If you value my opinion, you will let me speak to the Kim mother." There was a pause. Then he raised his hand in annoyance. "Very well, do it. It's women's business. I don't want a part of it regardless." Then he just shook his head. "Why must all our conversations be arguments?" I smiled to him and left. He already knows the answer. I love her. Why'd she have to die? I'm assuming this has to do with the queen. But I also got text. Has anyone sent me something to a P.O. box that should be here by now? Because I've got nothing. Just so you guys know. Finally someone I like, right? Well. Because River just checked it and said there's nothing in it. Yeah, I like her too. Dear Diary, you always forget how terrible it is to cry to yourself to sleep until it happens. It's just the ultimate feeling of helplessness. But what's new there, right? I just miss her. Even if she scared me, I miss her so damn much. Jehua was the only one who was sympathetic to me. Why did she have to die? Is that my fate? Anything that makes whatever short life I have left bearable must go? Fate hates me, I've decided. I don't know what killed her. I overheard one of the servants saying that the doctor claimed it was too much worry because causing an excess of wood in the spleen? I'm sorry, what? Oh, wait, I'm gonna ask for a drink. And the person we like is dead. Great. Well, they're all dead. Now, mine comes tomorrow at 8 p.m. Oh, okay. Okay. So I'll have River check again over the weekend or something. We'll see. Whenever she can. I don't know. Or if I can. My spleen. My squiddly splooge. Which he claimed to be common in oversensitive women. I feel like I'm an oversensitive woman, and I know that I have no wood in my spleen. I was baffled by the absurdity at the time. I still am now. My only friend is dead, and her diagnosis is absolutely insane. What do you even say to something like that? Well, I guess it's not like I need to worry about knowing what to say. But in light of that, it doesn't surprise me that nobody ever believed I was sick. With medicine that's stupid, why would they? All it does is reinforce now how hopeless everything is. I just constantly wonder, why did my father or my own doctor think that people would be smarter in the future, that medicine would be better? My servant has been helping me get through all the funeral stuff. Well, I mean, she's been guiding me through the rites, practically doing them for me, really. I'm so weak and stunned. I don't even know how I've been getting out of bed. I couldn't describe any of the ceremony. It's all a blur. There's been lots of black dress, I suppose. That's my only impression. And crying. Lots of crying from me. They should have tried using leeches. Oh my god. I'm eating them. Fun fact, my 64-year-old mom just learned a couple months ago that she doesn't even have a spleen. Is the spleen unnecessary? I can't remember. I know we have an unnecessary thing, but I don't remember if it's a spleen. I feel like a spleen's important. Look, please, do you trust me? Yeah. Please understand my position at the time. My world was so small, and I just lost my only friend. And then I'll give you my last 2 diary entries. They have the whole story. Just please don't judge me while you read them, please. Back to hell. I'll kill them all. I'm gonna save. Appendix is unnecessary. It's a blood filter. It's necessary if you don't want a bunch of infections. Well then, how your 64-year-old mom got fucking lucky. Holy hell. It's the appendix. That's what, okay. That's why it's called the appendix. Back to hell. Pale Bride, February 10th, 3:22. Dear Diary, this sounds so pathetic to say. I've been rewriting this a million times just to make it sound less pathetic for me, and I simply cannot. There were 2 things that made life worthwhile. 2 things that made this last year, before I die, bearable. The first was Jaihua's company. I can read. Being the one person that was friendly to me. The second is sharing a bed with my husband. For the past few months, that's what I've been saving all my energy for. That brief, precarious half hour every few nights where I feel fulfilled, if only in the most literal sense. It's the most lovely feeling, and now I'll never feel it again. The 2 things making my last year worth living, gone forever. The past few nights I'd been trying to get the Emperor's attention in that way, pleading silently for his affections, with no luck. On the 4th, or was it the 5th day, he finally took me aside and said painful annoyance in his voice. Enough, stop that. It is completely inappropriate. You're supposed to be in mourning. Show some damn chastity. Or do you have no respect for my wife and your queen at all, he snapped. When I looked, so he didn't kill her, I would assume. When I looked confused, he just lectured me. When I cried, he sighed, held me tightly, then left the room. I haven't spoken to him since, but later that day, my servant came to my room with good news. I was to go visit my family for a couple months, while the house is in mourning for Jaihua. I couldn't argue, of course, even if I was able. So just like that, I was sent back to hell. I was dressed in the usual veil. Nobody would see my face as I was escorted back to the Kim house in the middle of the night. Mother and father were there briefly to greet me, and in spite of how I felt about them, I put my bravest smile and bowed, and nodded politely to their questions about how I was doing. Then they had to go to bed and left, leaving me alone with sister. Young Seok was nowhere to be seen. Hi, she said. I never thought you'd end up visiting us again so soon. I shrugged. Well, let's have some tea. It's just us that's still around, she said. I nodded. It seemed like a good enough idea. There was a pause. Well, go make it, she snapped, removing any doubt that she might treat me with any sort of friendliness. I will fight some bitches. Successfully made your second snowboy. Nice. I accidentally made the reverse of a perfect snowboy. It sucked. It has to do with the immune system because I believe a certain type of immune cells mature in the spleen. Oh. In some people, the brain is a redundant organ. What? Soothsayer! She got super sick recently and went to the hospital because she thought it might be COVID, but turned out she just got some sort of blood infection for the first time and was going into septic shock. Oh, geez. So yeah, extremely lucky considering how clumsy she is and how often she injures herself. Holy shit, 64 years of your life never knowing you're missing an important vital organ. Now she's getting max vaccinations and boosters to stay safe. That's good. Holy crap. Imperfect fire girl. God damn it. No, I accidentally put the bottom on the top on the head because I like nudged the head up to the body and it wasn't going on it. I'm like, what the fuck? So I was like, maybe the body's not in the right place. So I started moving the body and it just automatically went into the head. I'm like, God damn it. And the snowman's like, wonderful. Just wonderful. Like, I'm sorry. Of course I made the tea. I don't disobey her anymore. Thanks, she said. So young Suk is out, attending to official business at the moment, but you should avoid him. He's still angry at you because father-in-law finds you more important to the family than his own son. Can you blame him? I had no idea what she was talking about, and she just continued. So you really shouldn't talk to him. Oh, I guess you can't really do that, can you? Well, you know what I mean. Yes, I knew exactly what she meant. I'm surprised you're back so soon, though, especially now that you don't have to share your husband. Does that mean you're the primary wife now? I didn't know. Does that make you queen? Oh, what great fortune you have. Father-in-law must be so proud of you. I stared at her, wishing nothing more than to be able to kill her through her sheer force of rage. How could she possibly say something so awful? My only friend was dead, and here she was taunting me. What an awful thing to do. But I couldn't hate her to death, no matter how much I tried, so instead, I tried holding back angry tears to hide my weakness. I couldn't do that either. Screw the people in this game that treated her like crap. Exactly. I'll kill them all! March 3rd, 3:22. Dear Diary. I was far too feverish to do any real cooking, so my servant was doing all the work for me that night. When Father came in. Excuse me, I think he was drunk, or maybe just tired or stupid. You know, child, he said to me, you grew up to be a wonderful daughter. I was shocked to hear him say that and waved my servant out of the kitchen. I'd never heard even the slightest indication of that before. For the briefest moment, it made me happy to hear that. That surprised me, that I actually felt that way. As a kid, I never would have wanted his approval, so why now? He continued to make me wonder. When he asked, do you remember what you were like as a child? I nodded, but I wasn't certain I did. You were so temperamental. You argued all the time. You didn't want to get married when the time came. You just didn't ever know your place, you know? That's right, I didn't. That was back when I thought there was a point to being defiant. Why was that? I wondered. That's the part that amazes me now. I tried to think of the reason why I might want to be defiant, why I valued independence, and at first I couldn't even think of anything. I'd forgotten entirely. Don't tell young Suk, but it really scared me. You were always the family's best hope for prosperity, but that attitude of yours, I thought I'd never manage to disavow you of those crazy, uncivilized ideas of yours, he said, while I tried to think of what they were. Interesting that one, she became mute all of a sudden, and two, that she doesn't remember the past. So I feel like they did something. There were times I thought it was a mistake to have hatched you, but you came through. You really did. I know it must have been painful, but I'm proud of you. Then he patted me on the head. You turned out to be a good girl. That's all I wanted to say. It was hard raising you to be a proper woman, but you've turned out to be perfect. Thank you, he said. I stared, speechless, and I tried to remember. What crazy uncivilized ideas was he talking about? Thinking back to those days, or back to before I was frozen, I tried to remember. I had dreams of what adulthood would be, but they were so unimaginably different from what the reality turned out to be that they seemed impossible. Completely impossible, nothing more than childhood fantasies without a shred of realism in them. I tried to think of what they were, to imagine them. In those dreams, I was strong, independent. I wasn't just a wife in those dreams. I had a job, working as the ship's engineer, following the footsteps of my father, my real father. I wasn't married in those dreams. I was happy just to go on dates with boys my age in the ship's plaza and fall in love before making any commitments. I dreamed of being free. The more I thought about it, the more I was certain. That's what those dreams were about. That's what I wanted. But father, Kim Sung-soo, had made sure to disavow me of those notions. I learned to stop arguing, to stop trying to fight, to stop dreaming of those things. In other words, I learned how to be a proper woman, and he was proud of that. So I guess they just, in a way, kind of brainwashed her to think this was how you do things, and maybe the mute thing has to do with her illness. I'm not sure which. I'll kill them all. Join the queue. Yeah? Explain why your mom lasted so long before the major blood infection, right? That's amazing. I assume her liver isn't in the greatest shape either at this point, though. Hopefully. Hopefully. She'll be okay. Proud of destroying my dreams, and now I would die under the house of that man, silenced, broken, hopeless, and unloved. I was overwhelmed by the strongest feeling I'd ever felt in my life, the deepest bitterness, the most powerful resentment I could imagine. I looked at the knife near my hand and wondered, could I kill him before I died? Could I at least have justice? I tried to lift the knife. My hand twitched, and it was too hard to keep a grip. I was just too weak. I'd never be able to do it. He smiled at me and said, sorry, please go ahead and keep cooking. I won't distract you more. Then, just as he was about to go out the door, he added, take care of yourself. At that moment, I vowed that I would. I wouldn't worry anymore about the people who had hurt me. I'd take care of myself. I couldn't stab him to death. I was too weak for that. But then I remembered, there were other ways. If I disable life support, I can kill him, and all the others too. It'll be quick. It'll be easy. And not one of them don't deserve it. All I need to disable it is in the admin password. It's perfect. You're missing one more file. Try showing muteness. Oh shit. Well, so there you are then. Now you know. It's true. I did do what she said I did. I'm not going to lie. If possible, shit. I really, really wish you'd never met her. I wish she'd never said anything to you. I just thought it was so nice the way things were between us before things started out so well. I got to be cheery for the first time in my life since I was a child, talking about actual romantic things together, having fun with cosplay, and just, you know, having someone there to talk to, someone who wasn't interested in shutting me up. But now, well, please, you've read my diary. You have to know it's not. You have to understand, right? Even if you think what I did was wrong, look, I've never really been dishonest with you. Fine, I lied about being an AI, but I told you the truth. I could have deceived you, but I didn't. Please, you still trust me, right? I never really lie to you, not seriously. You don't have to think what I did was acceptable, but please tell me you trust me. I trust you. You do? Really? Oh my word. I mean, of course, I'm so sorry. I should have had faith in you. I really should have. I'm really bad at this. But thank you. Thank you so much. I can't believe I even doubted you for a second. Look, that means a lot to me. It means so much. I mean, I'm sure what I did wasn't right, I know. I'm sure you don't think it was. I just want you to understand, alright? For someone I'm in love, for someone as good to me as you've been, I want you to at least please understand. You don't have to forgive me, just hear me out? Of course. Thank you. Thank you so much. You're a really good person. Much better than me. Thank you. Then very well. It's possibly just better if I show you. There's a data block that contains all the logs that matter, but my family encrypted it because, well, it should be obvious why after you read it. You need to drop to the terminal and type decrypt block 7. Let me know once you've done that, and I'll show you. Now I would have murdered them all as well. Okay, before I do that. I don't remember what block it was. I think it was 6. It is. Okay. Muteness. You need to drop to the Let me know once you've done that and I'll show you. I want this! I wanted the top one! Should I reload real quick and do that? Because I can reload here and just like click through them, but I won't obviously reread them. Nah, but I want it. Will I get a chance after this? Do that decrypt first? Okay. Okay. Decrypt 7. Decrypting block now. Block successfully decrypted. Quit. You might be getting it after. Oh, okay. Very well. These are really hard for me to read. I haven't seen mine since I wrote them, and I haven't seen my family's, well, ever. Well, I think I found... Here, I've added some. Just please read them. If you want to know the whole story, those entries will explain. Why is the music on? Damn it. F. All right. Try still? I went through. She didn't have anything new to say about any of them. Should I go back? Yeah, never mind. So I should reload real quick. I want that entry. Also, is this all the blocks? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's no 8! I think it is in here. Oh, you think it's in block 7? So you're saying I should continue? I'll make a new save just in case. Nightmarish Bride. Yeah, okay. So this is February 7th, 3:20. Hyo-min-jung. It seems that in the year I spent visiting my parents, everything has gone to hell in my husband's family without his knowing. Clearly, I never should have left. Excuse me. Also, people, this gets hard, okay? Warned. Everyone warned. He has an idea, but he doesn't understand just how bad things have gotten. When I left, it all seemed under control. The pale bride would be of the right age to be married to the emperor soon enough, and we would be able to use that connection to bring favor to the family. A good plan, except it turns out the pale bride is not even close to ready for marriage. Age has nothing to do with it. It's the maturity that she lacks. When she first awoke, right before I left, she seemed a little confused, but that was hardly unexpected. She had a whole new family to get accustomed to, and it seemed obvious enough that anyone born so far in the past would have some difficulty adjusting to modern life. But this is far beyond that. There's something simply wrong with that child. When I got back, the first thing Young-suk's wife did was tell me all about how sorry she was for not being able to control the child. I rolled my eyes, as if a grown woman couldn't handle someone at her age. How are you going to raise my grandson like that? I asked. She was quiet and let me see the pale bride for myself. The first time I saw Young-suk try to get her to do something as simple as sort out his laundry, she wasn't just disobedient, she was openly defiant. When I stepped in to admonish her, it had absolutely no effect. All she did was argue back at me. I tried every approach I could think of, appealing to filiality. Oh my god, explaining how important a virtue obedience was, even trying to appeal to sentimentality, everything. She just kept saying the same thing, that it wasn't fair to make her do it. Here's the obvious concern, and that's what I said to her. Are you going to tell your husband that he's not being fair when he wants something from you? I thought that would put some sense into her, but no, she just answered yes. There's no way this unruly child could possibly be marriageable. Not like this. She'd be sent back within a day, and with good reason. What man could possibly want a nightmare like her in his life? Mother, In other words, this is when I get really angry. I'm assuming this explains why she's mute and why she doesn't remember stuff. February 21st, 20. Dear Diary, the good news is, health-wise, I seem to be doing much better this month. I'm assuming this is the first one? The one I was trying to get? I'm sure this isn't a permanent thing. It's happened before. I can't really remember how the doctor from the past explained it anymore, but he said it was pretty normal and not something to get my hopes up about. Still, some days this month I actually had enough energy to want to move around. Not that I could move around, of course. I can't leave the house. A good girl shouldn't, is what everyone keeps saying, but I have the energy to, at least, and that's something. I have no words. The big news is that the woman who's supposed to be my adopted mother came back. I didn't really see her much before she left. I might as well have been meeting a new person. I wish I could say I had high hopes for her, that I had thought that maybe she'd be fine. That'd be a lie, though. I knew she'd be as bad as the rest the moment I saw her, and she was. Of course she was. She's even worse than sister-in-law. She gives these awful lectures. I can't even describe them. They're that horrible. She's that horrible. New anxiety. Young Suck's wife. April 22nd, 3:20. Dearest mother, my mother-in-law has relieved me of any responsibility for looking after the pale bride, as a matter of pride. I feel bad that a simple child is too much for me to handle, but I am certainly glad she's not my problem anymore. Now I can put my undivided attention back to where it belongs, onto my husband and his ambitions. Tell me, though, Mother, because I know we didn't always get along that well. I was never that bad, was I? Sure, we were both happy when I moved out. Well, perhaps I wasn't happy right away, but I was more scared. But I'm sure you were relieved to have some space. But you would never given up on me, right? I was never that bad, was I? Deep down, I worry. My husband seems content to take his time to have children, and which is a decision I can certainly live with. But what about when we do? What if we have a daughter? Will I fail with her too? I've been telling myself that it's not me, it's her. It's a peculiarly unruly child, and it's not ordinarily that bad. It's not, right? Please tell me I have nothing to worry about, please. Hi, Oni. We're getting into some intense shit. Peace at last. Alright, February 14th, 3:21. Hyo-min-jung. Recently, the pale bride's temperament has improved immensely. It isn't simply that she's now quiet, it's that she's actually respectful and calmer. After rescheduling, she had an interview with the Emperor, and he had actually was quite charmed with her. I'm just so happy, for her own sake, that she's finally stopped resisting the marriage. It's all coming together now. A date has been set for when she'll be sent to live with him, and in the meanwhile, things at home have been peaceful again for everyone. Actually, it's better than just that. I've been spending more time with her, of her own free will. I've been giving her advice recently. The pale bride's... What? Oh, I've been giving her advice for coping with marriage, and now the girl actually listens politely. Otherwise, there is little else to write about. I wish there had been a better way to get her to behave, but in the end, it seemed to be working out. I still can't imagine how awful it would be if she'd refused to ever leave the home and simply made life hell for us. Or worse, if she'd gotten sent off and tried to pull any of that on her husband, she'd get sent back for sure. Maybe now things will finally start to come together for this family. I must admit, for a time, I doubted the optimism that Sung-soo expressed in the 319th year, but now it seems that he was right all along. What a relief. What did you do in between these? Tara, thank you so much for 5 months of support. I appreciate you. Thank you. When doesn't this get intense? I mean, true. Deep emotions. Millennial confused by turning pages. Rude? Fender, how dare? They just keep saying sent back, like she's going to come with a gift receipt. Yeah, they treat them like objects. I mean, you're not wrong. Mother, huh? I don't really know what to say about her, even now. This is the first time I've read what she wrote, and it's just... Well, there's more. Here, read them for yourself. Independent woman. April 3rd, 320. Hyo Min-jung. If you're so worried, why don't you just explain everything to her, simply and rationally? Jung-soo asked me. My response was obvious. She's a woman. We're not particularly rational, he said. He said, you know what I mean. I could hardly do it. But coming from a woman, perhaps she will understand that it's all for her own good. Maybe, I said, doubting it. But I tried anyway. She took her time, arriving after I summoned her to my room. Can we speak? I asked her, trying to keep my voice calm. She glared, then snapped, fine. I asked her to sit down, but she refused. Look, I said, trying to speak to her as an equal. I still didn't think my husband was right, but it was worth trying. I've been told you'd rather be called Hyun-ae. Is that right? She said yes, bitterly, not giving me much to go off. That's a very pretty name, I said. Thanks, she said, but her voice was still unfriendly. My parents gave it to me. I said, you must miss them very much. She nodded. I don't understand, Hyun-ae. Were you so difficult with them too? No, she said. They were nice. They actually cared about me. They're nothing like you people. I sighed. I care about you, Hyun-ae. You're part of the family. You're a Kim. Your parents are our ancestors. And I know they'd think it's very important that we raise you right. If you want to be a bad, unfilial daughter and treat us with any respect, without any respect, well, you wouldn't be the first. Do you really think an old woman like me really cares that much about your opinion of me? I thought, maybe I'd try appealing to her selfishness. Her marriage is important to the family, but clearly she doesn't care about filiality. It's you I'm worried about. Do you think any husband is really going to put up with the way you are even for a second? She kept glaring at me. That's all you talk about. Marriage, marriage, marriage. I'm 14. I'm 14 years old. What's wrong with you? Why does everything have to be about some man? Why do I have to marry somebody that you picked? She screamed at me. I remained calm. You're going to be a royal concubine, Hyun-ae. We're not dumping you off on just anyone. There's no better man. I don't know if you were already engaged in the past, but your parents would do the same if they could. It's what's best for you. They would want this. No, they wouldn't, she shrieked. They'd want me to grow up. They wanted me to be an independent woman. That's what Mom and Dad thought was important. I don't want to be a concubine. I don't care about marriage. An independent woman? They wanted you to be a whore? I asked. Damn. My patience run as thin as anyone's would be. I didn't believe for a second my husband's ancestors were the monsters she was making them out to be, and was sick of this. Get out, I snapped at her. Just get out. Concubine. GG, Cat. You're welcome. Take care, Zathea. Have a lovely evening and get all that rest. All the love. Needing it to get through this week. All the love then. Also, fuck that bitch. Yes, agreed. Drastic measures. May 13th, year 320. Hyo Min-jung. The pale bride picked the worst of all possible days to throw another one of her childish fits, refusing to even get dressed for her interview. And this one was with the emperor himself. Not even my husband was able to get her to listen. He had to personally apologize himself for not being able to bring her as scheduled, and lied about a sudden illness. You have to do something about her, I said to my husband that evening. She's completely out of control. I know, he said. That is quite clear. He looked so worried. I hugged him and tried to comfort him. Everything would fall apart if something couldn't be done. She threatened to say something stupid and dangerous to the emperor, and we were both scared that she might. Maybe it's time to consider doing something drastic, I said to him. He nodded. I know. He said, I can only think of one idea. I do not like it. I would rather not. Even hitting her was far worse than I would have wanted. He explained his idea to me, and I agreed that it was terrible, and I didn't like it either. But it would stop her from arguing, stop her from ruining her own life. My husband was, as always, right. There was only one way. Yep, they did something. I'm gonna go in order and have her respond though, so I don't miss something. I don't like where I see this going. Yeah, they obviously made her mute and then I guess like brainwashed her in some way. Hi Avieli. Busy with you and I work? Good luck. All the luck. Are you just showing me that because you want to see more from her? That's not why. Yeah, I didn't think so. I don't know what to say. She was cruel. So cruel. Now that I've read her perspective, it doesn't change anything. Fine. She actually believed what she was saying, but that doesn't make all of it right. I hate her. I don't care if she's long dead. I don't care if I was the one who did it. I still hate her. I 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 hate her. Oh geez, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to work myself up like that. It's just, you don't pity her, do you? Oh, I don't. Good, me neither. That's what I had to live with, reading what she wrote. She honestly believed that. It just reminds me of how I ended up thinking, how I completely gave up and believed her attitude. She tried to wear me down. She succeeded. She doesn't deserve pity, and I don't deserve what she did to me. I could never forgive her, ever. I'm really glad you understand. Sorry, I've calmed down now. It's just hard to think about even now. I really do hate her. Yeah, her mind is still that of a 16-year-old, basically. Oh, I see centuries as a computer didn't mature her that much then. Yeah. How do you turn luck into marriage? Just one letter. What? Fuck? God damn it. Finder. I feel like I am her towards family sometimes. That's fair. She still has something to say, which is weird. There was one big fight I had with her. The one that changed everything. The one I finally lost. My diary makes it sound really dramatic, I know. I was young at the time, but it really was. Just read it. It's exactly how it went. To be clear, I'm not saying she's wrong to feel that way. Just a very teenage way of expressing it. Yeah. Before that, I'm going to have her look at this one. Nope. Or this one? Yeah. You know, I never did like her. When I woke up, she was just this awful person who kept saying the most awful things. Never as bad as Mother, but still. I didn't read any of her letters when I was alive, of course, but you know what really surprised me? She made such an awful impression on my life. I hated her the most for so long, and she barely ever even ever mentioned me. All my suffering, it was just a minor distraction to her, nothing more, insignificant compared to her man. There's one more from her that you should read. I don't know how to feel about it. I don't know how to feel about her. There's just one thing that I keep thinking, though. Just one thing. I have no idea what her name was. Oh. Okay. I'm gonna do this one. Damn it. Here we go. Peace at last. Of her own free will. I can't believe she actually said that. It's wrong. It's completely wrong. I can't believe she could have possibly thought that. Just unbelievable. Before I read those new ones, I'm gonna fucking see. Let me know this fucking thing, please. Fuck. I'm not saying she. Oh yeah, I read that. Coming from someone that takes a moment to understand these things. Feel ya? Yeah, me. All right. Let's do it. My last stand. Dear Diary, May 13th, 3:20. Everything managed to spiral out of control so quickly today. I wasn't planning on it happening this way, but here's the point where I make my stand, I guess. It sounds dramatic, but I won't just let them marry me off to some stranger. I won't let them. Just before dinner yesterday, Mother told me that I had to go to an interview with some man. The Emperor, I guess, for all I care. The way she put it, I'd get a chance to see that he's a man you could fall in love with, or something stupid like that. As if, I said in response, and spent the rest of the evening thinking about what I could possibly do to make it clear that I wouldn't let them do this. This morning, after breakfast, sister-in-law showed up in my room. "Good morning," she said. "Today is a big day for you, isn't it? Mother-in-law wanted me to help you get dressed and all made up. You'll want to make a good first impression after all." I glared at her and summoned up all my courage. "No," I said. "What?" she asked. "No, I'm not going." I didn't know I could do that. She left, and that was scroll. She left, and Mother herself came in. This was it. I told myself this was the big moment. "I'm not going," I said, before she could say anything. "I'm not going to get dressed up, I'm not going to meet him, and I'm definitely not going to get married," I shouted. For a moment, she did nothing, and didn't move. Then she left, too, without saying a word. I thought that would feel good, but it didn't. It just made me worry more. I couldn't have possibly won that easily, I thought. And I hadn't, of course. After a few minutes, she returned with Father, who looked incredibly angry. "Min Jung says you refused to get ready for your interview," he said. "Yeah," I stammered, not used to talking to him. I won't go, and I won't get married." He walked over in just 2 strides, then glared at me for a second. I had no idea what he was going to do. Then he slapped me in the face so hard that it knocked me over. "Yes, you will," he said. "I'll drag you there kicking and screaming if I have to." My face in so much pain, I forced myself to sit back up. "I won't," I said, bracing myself for if he hit me again. He did. "Yes, you will," he said. I couldn't keep this up. It already hurt so much, I couldn't just brave that out. Then it came to me. "If you make me do the interview," I said, "I'll tell the Emperor that you've been conspiring against his back. Behind his back." It was all I could think of, and all I could do was cross my fingers and hope that the threat worked. It had to. He glared at me, and in that moment, I knew. It worked. The two of them looked at each other, and then they both left together. That was 3 hours ago. I don't know what's going to happen now, and I think my face is swollen. It still hurts, and I didn't want it to go that way. So that's me making my stand. Check the walkthrough. It says empty for them as well. Oh, so it just stays empty? Rude? A new promise. Young Suk's wife. This is March 7th, 3/21. Dearest Mother, today the pale bride finally left home to live with her new husband. As she isn't a primary wife, there was no fanfare or ceremony for her departure itself. So instead, last night we had a special big feast to commemorate. I know I have said bad things about her before, but it's not just that I was happy to see her gone. She's been better since Mother and father-in-law managed to get her to keep quiet. The thought of it still leaves me really uncomfortable. She was always just a confused child. I hate the fact that the family considers her so important and neglects my husband, and I certainly hate her for not appreciating that status and fighting it. But the fact that she doesn't understand the world, I can feel for that. It's not like I always understand myself. Regardless, it went very well. The big feast was my idea, and she was happy to help with the cooking. Earlier, she had spent the afternoon getting ready the dress she was going to wear when she arrived with mother-in-law, and she seemed rather anxious about it. While we cooked, I opened the wine early and poured it for her. I think she needed it. I told her the same story I told you a while ago, about how scared I was when I first moved in. It seemed as though it was a lifetime ago, and yet, despite all the strangeness, I have grown so accustomed to it. You'll eventually grow to love him, I promised her. Just as you promised me all those years ago. Appreciate how good you'll have it. You've read almost everything now. I know you've had faith in me, and I promise it hasn't been misplaced. There's just one more thing. I don't think you'll be surprised. You seem smart, I'm sure. I'm sure you've already guessed what it is, still. Go ahead. Ask it. Ask me the obvious question. Wait. I want that too. How did the big fight end? That's what you're asking, right? Or maybe you're asking, how did it change everything? How was that the most important thing? Maybe you want to know how bad it could have been that it made me think the whole family deserved to die. Well, if you haven't already guessed, here's my last diary entry. I can't say it myself. I can't bring myself to, even now. Please just read it. Forever silenced. Okay, people, warning. I'm really curious to know if Kat has a guess or not. I guessed. Kind of. 5/13/320. Dear Diary. The evening where everything went wrong. Where I thought I was going to win with my adoptive parents. Well, I didn't. I lost. Making my stand, I wrote, just hours before it happened. Yeah, right. When I got called into the kitchen, they were both there. On one of the stove burners, there was a knife. I thought it was a bit odd, but didn't care. Father stared at me and said, the fighting needs to end now. He was so sure of himself. Of course he was. He had every reason to be. But I stubbornly stood my ground and I said no. The only thing I could think of is cutting her neck, but like, how? You're not a surgeon? That's impressive. I do not want to hurt you. He lied. Just promise to be less argumentative, and this can end peacefully. But I just had to fight back. I just had to say no. I just had to remind him. I wasn't joking. I really will tell the Emperor that you hurt me and that you plotted against him. No, he said, you won't. He motioned at Mother and said, bring her over. She grabbed me and I tried to dig my feet in, but it didn't work. Then Father pinned me against the wall with his whole body and I kicked and screamed, desperately trying to get free. But it was no use. He was big and I was small and sick and weak and frail. Then he grabbed the knife from the stove and I shrieked in horror. No, I screamed at him, don't! But then Mother grabbed my mouth and held it open. Cut her tongue? I tried to keep screaming, but I was powerless and terrified. When he raised the knife towards me, I thought he was going to kill me. It was worse. The next thing I knew, I could taste disgusting flesh as he struck his fingers in my mouth and pulled. I'm sorry, Mother said. Then briefly, I could taste the steel, then nothing but blood. All I could taste was so much blood, nothing but blood. Finally, they both let go of me. I thought there's a way you can, like, bleed out if you're not okay. No, I'm reading it. So I was right. Awful. What the fuck? Finally, they both let go of me and I collapsed onto the floor. Why, I wanted to say, but couldn't. I blacked out from the pain after that. But just before I did, I could swear I heard Father say, you will not ever argue with any man ever again. He was right, of course. Yeah, I would think she would have bled to death. Like, it said knife from the stove, so supposedly, I guess, cauterized it, but I don't think it would cauterize it that fast. Like, I think you'd have to press it to it, the wound. That's why I gave up. That's why I wanted to kill them so much. Sorry. It's really hard to talk about. It's just I'll try. I'm sorry. I told you it'd make sense, right? That there was a good reason. Please tell me you don't think I've let you down. You haven't? I haven't? You mean you understand then? Yes. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. That really means so much to me. I'm so glad. I don't know what I'd do if you didn't think, well, thank you. Thank you so much. I was terrified, so terrified. I thought you might not. I'm so glad. Thank you. Thank you so much. Aww. Oh, it's all gone. It's all gone. Hey, could we just talk a little more instead? There's something really important I need to tell you. That is not okay. Hot knife might have cauterized the wound. Okay. Ow. I have no words equal to this. I know. I don't know if tongue has arteries. Most things just stop the bleeding. Well, no, because I thought there was a pretty major tongue vein or something, because I remembered hearing that you have to be careful. Like, in theory, it doesn't, like, piercing your tongue. I thought that if you pierce your tongue wrong or something, it can hit that artery and you can bleed out. I could be wrong, though. Unless you're hemophiliac, most cuts eventually stop bleeding on their own. Yes, but amputating your tongue, I think, is a lot of blood. God. Yeah. Right. I have really strong feelings about. It's not like oh God, I really think you're a good person. I consider you a really good listener and a great, geez, I'm in love with you. Yeah, but you can literally bite your tongue hard enough to bleed out. That's why some prisoners in shows or games get gagged to prevent that. You would be more likely to choke or suffocate on the blood. That also makes sense. I guess they just got the end. Either way, she could still write out the message, yeah. But nobody can read her writing is the other problem. The nice ending? Did I get the nice ending? I finally said it. This is so embarrassing. I know I'm being rather silly, right? I mean, geez, I'm sure I know what you're thinking, right? You think that's ridiculous. I'll say not at all. You don't? Oh, that's why I'm in love, because you manage to happily surprise me every time. I never thought that I would find someone who understands me, someone who listens, who would hear my whole life story and doesn't hate me. You really have been wonderful. I know it's a lot to spring on someone just like that. And I don't even know if you're even a man or the sort of woman who wouldn't have a problem with that and still unmarried. But if you are, do you think we might have a chance together? Even just a chance? I'll say yeah. Oh yeah, she doesn't know her future letters. Hi? F. No, it's fine. Yeah. Didn't we establish that she is basically still 16? I mean, she's an AI right now. You can have two endings with both AIs as friends in this. Oh, okay. Cat gets the nice ending. Fender. Me, as a person, I would not date this person. I'm going to because of story and plot, because I want to see the ending. But I personally would not. I can't do... Like, first of all, it's AI, so it's a weird, blurry thing that's not a real person. But, ignoring that, because absolutely not. Under 18? No. Fuck no. But also, just ignoring the fact, because body doesn't exist and she's just data. Mentality, personality-wise, I can't deal with immaturity. Like, I just can't. I can't do it. Can't. So, I wouldn't be able to anyway. I'm going to do it for the ending. Do you think we might have a chance together, even just a chance? Sure. Now I'm aware of my tongue and afraid of swallowing it. Great. And, like, there's a hell of a lot of trauma, so, like, that would make things complicated. Yes. Of course you can't, Kat. Opposites attract. Wait, what do you mean? That is truly the most amazing thing I've ever heard in my life. Thank you. Thank you so much. I've been sort of thinking about this for a while. A little bit embarrassing, I know, but... Well, we don't have to rush to get married or anything. We can't. You're AI. I mean, you know how scary it was last time I was a wife. I'd just really like to, just be with you as an equal. Does that sound right to you? Of course. Wonderful. Oh, I really do love you. It's funny, isn't it? I know almost nothing about you. I have no idea what you look like. I have no idea how you talk. I have no idea what's supposed to be the most important thing about a person if you're a man or a woman. I have no idea how old you are, although I suppose you must be much younger. Well, because of centuries, if you were counting that. Or maybe older, depending on how you look at it. Nor do I have any idea where you're from, or even your name. But I know that you take me seriously, that you understand me, that you don't treat me as something less than just being a woman. For being a woman. I know that talking to you makes me feel better than I've ever felt in my life, and that's good enough for me. That's far better than I've ever had. So, very well. I'll decompile myself now. That way you can just drop the terminal and type download to copy everything to your ship, including myself. It should only take a few days to do a complete transfer. I'll see you soon, alright? So this is how my sister-in-law felt on her wedding night. Aw. Download, right? Starting active systems download will permanently terminate session. AI personality is available. Hyun-ae in addition to logs? Yes. Hyun-ae will be transferred. Oh god, preparing. Estimated download time. 3 days, 24, 22. Oh, okay. I did it! Do it for the content. Aww. Oh, that was her schoolgirl outfit. It doesn't take 3 days. I was gonna say, oh shit. How do you even have a relationship with an AI? Don't know. I have no idea. Magic. Like, if they have a physical body, it makes sense, but it would be interesting how you do. I guess like an online relationship. Kat getting the good ending shouldn't be a surprise since, considering her personality, she gives most of us good ending from her personality. Aw, thanks. Hey. Lot to unpack, yeah. Mom and I just watched a great Star Trek episode. Part of its topic, it's just doing nice things for each other and feeling feelings. Feeling feelings. Now you have to keep the game running for 3 days. That is a cute picture. I think I have to click because I think it's just story and code by Christine Love and art by Raid or Raid-A. Thank you, DMoness. I just realized I didn't say it, but DMoness, thank you for being a lovely and amazing Patreon supporter and also picking this game. It was quite an adventure. So much lore. Thank you. Holy shit, that reminds me. I wonder if it's time for me to install the Stanley Parable and get my achievement. What's that? Oh, I have to click. Original soundtrack by Isaac Shankler. Editing Shendoki. Incoming message. Good work on recovering the Magungwa files. I just spoke to the sponsor's representative on audio. He sounded really pleased with what you delivered. I have credited your account with the standard payment. Listen, I've got another job lined up for you. It's on Earth, but it sounds to me like it. Oh, fuck! Playtestings? Playtesting? Translations, yo! Playtesting? Font. Special things. Ending 2. Completion rate of this time, 94%. No! So close! Ah! This is fine. Thanks for playing. Oh, it's handwritten. I got Korean Fusion, Deep Space Detective, and see you next mission. And my waifu and Deep Space. Oh, I got. Okay, 92 out of 97 for that. I found it an interesting story. It is a very interesting story. I agree. Just Monica. The one for not playing for 5 years? Oh. Go outside. Do not play the game for 5 years is an achievement in Stanley Parable. That does not surprise me. Also one for playing the game for 24 hours on a Tuesday. What the fuck? Also, if people do want to know why the ship calendar was set to 0 that is told in the DLC, you cannot get 100%. Why? Rude? Probably because I don't have mutes info. I don't know. Thank you so much, DMoness. It was a very interesting story. That was a roller coaster. That isn't... Yeah, Erica's an interesting FMV. Not at all what I expected. Great that you're enjoying Erica. Yes. But yeah, so I'm going to run downstairs, grab more water, because I'm empty almost. And just grab some noms and stretch. So guys, get up, do the same. And then we're going to switch over. I'll leave you with this music. And then we're going to switch over to Kath's, to be fair's Patreon pick of Beyond the Valley. Fuck. Excuse me. Aporia. Yeah. This was wonderful. I need to head out. Everyone have a wonderful day. You too, Tara and Soothsayer. Tara, have a lovely evening. And I have to go now. Bye, Kat and everyone. That was a really great game. Thank you, Soothsayer, for hanging out with us and for the love earlier, too. I appreciate you. All the love. All of it. One spoiler, Mute does not know that the pale bride got her tongue cut out. Oh. Well, I think she'd actually feel bad for her if she knew that. I think. Alright, so I'll be right back while you guys chill to this music. And BRB. You know what the game really slept on? What? I'll see it when I come back, will I? Oh no. I fear. It's probably gonna be a pun or something. No tongue, no taste buds, no delicious noms. I mean, that's also true and sad.